Hello there, welcome to Critical Reviews. It's time for the penultimate episode of Alien Earth. Mercifully, here is episode 7. Now, I didn't think that this show could surprise me anymore. I didn't think it had any capacity to evolve or to change or to become anything more than the shit show that it actually is. But I was wrong, because in episode 7, Alien Earth evolves into a comedy. I shall henceforth call it Alien MIRTH. Let's get into it. Starting with the hilarity straight away, we see that Arthur is under Slightly's bed. And I'm not exaggerating here, I mean under his bed. Slightly has taken Arthur after putting him in the vents. He's gone through all the vents to his room, and he's put Arthur under his bed. He tries to give him some water. He's got like a little drinky sippy bottle, and he's trying to get it under the facehugger, and the facehugger's not too impressed, of course. The most interesting thing about this is the continuity error with the tiger, to be honest, the plush tiger. Anyway, Smee comes in and just Slightly tries to cover Arthur up, doesn't make sure his arm's covered up, so Smee sees his arm and he's like, what's going on here? So Slightly tries to explain it all and says, like, what's his name's got my mum, I need to get Arthur down to the beach, he'll be okay, they just want this thing on him. And after a bit of, sort of back and forth, Smee's like, okay, I'll help you because you're my best friend. So they both go to pick Arthur up to presumably just carry him out of the facility. I mean, if he's gone through the vents, why can't you take him through the vents to an external vent? No, they're just going to walk him through the facility. And they both struggle to pick him up, because the script's forgotten that these are meant to be super strong androids, even though it's going to remember that they're super strong androids later. Oh, God. Kirsch goes to the lab facility, and it's all alarms blaring, it's all on lockdown, serious shit going on. And he sees that Isaac's dead and shows as much compassion as a synth could, kind of thing. Cavalier goes there and just notes that that's 6 billion down the drain. No more kids in the lab, apart from Wendy, of course. He's more excited by the fact that the eye alien engineered the escape. Wendy comes in and sees Isaac dead, and she sort of, she's like, this can't happen with premium. Kirsch's like, no, it can happen. Wendy kind of finds out that they're not immortal, that they can be killed, they are a danger. It could have been a moment. It's not a moment, because Wendy goes to leave. The guards go to stop her, because basically she wants to tell everybody that Isaac's dead. And she calls the alien, makes sounds, and the alien starts smashing on the door. Arr. So she gets to go. She goes to go see Joe. Kirsch finds out that the trackers are off. They don't seem to be able to re-enable them or anything, but he finds out the trackers are off, and they work out that it's Arthur who's done it. Wendy Marcy goes to see Joe, and he's like, look, we need to get out of it. And she's like, yeah, but we need to take everybody. And he's like, well, we don't really have time. And Wendy goes, look, would you leave me here? And he's like, no, go get as many as you can, kind of thing. And Marcy goes and finds Nibs and Curly. Curly wants to stay, despite what Wendy's saying. Nibs is like, yeah, no, I'm coming with you. Nibs has gone completely off the deep end. She's got a little puppet. It's called Mr. Strawberry. I'm getting Rimmer and Mr. Flibble vibes here, big time.
Mr. Flibble's very cross.
But before I leave, Joe, Nibs, and Wendy does some of her magic screen android bullshit and opens the alien cage in the lab. So the alien promptly murders everybody, and Joe's like, well, what have you done? Pay attention to this, because it's going to make sense later. But Joe's like, what have you done? And what she's done is murdered everybody in that room. Nice one, Wendy. Thank you. Kirsch and Cavalier go to question Sylvia. And Sylvia generally doesn't know what Arthur's... She's got no idea. As far as she's concerned, he's been fired. He's gone off the island. She hasn't seen him since. It's a bit weird that, she hasn't expected him to check in or anything like that, but she's just saying that you fired him, he's gone. So they're all sort of like, okay, well, what's going on here? Then we get a comedy scene. So you've literally got a patrol walks past, and before they're out of earshot, the two boys come past holding Arthur, half each end, struggling with him. They're meant to be super strong androids. Anyway, Kirsten comes up behind him and he's like, what are you doing? And they explain everything. He's like, I already know that. What are you doing going this way? Take the elevator, it's quicker. And then he opens up the elevator and they go down in the elevator. And I was like, what are you doing? This is just so stupid. We then cut to Nibs, Joe and Marcy, and they're out in the jungle and they head towards the boat, and they come across the children's graves. Literally, they come across the 5 children's graves. Oh, whatever. Anyway, this allows Nibs to find out what her real name is, and it's Rose something or other, I don't care. And it could have been a scene where they ponder the nature of their reality, and there's a teeny bit of that, but it just doesn't, some obnoxious cross-fading as it tries to be profound. It just doesn't work. I mean, they're grazing just this random little clearing type thing that they happen to stumble across. Whatever. It's time to go back to Laurel and Hardy. So we're back to Smee and Slightly carrying Arthur through the jungle. And they see there's a patrol coming. So they go off the path and put Arthur down, wait for the patrol to pass. It's literally 20 seconds, tops. I mean, tops. It's 20 seconds. Turn around, Arthur's gone. Dun, dun. So while they're like, oh, where's Arthur, where's Arthur? The facehugger falls out of the tree onto Smee, and Smee's like, acting like a little child. Now, we all know that facehuggers crawl off and die when they leave the host. They don't tend to crawl up a tree. Anyway, whatever. They then turn around and Arthur is just standing there. He's just standing there, like closer to the path than they were. It's a grand total of like 30 seconds has taken past since they saw the patrol. If the facehugger got off and crawled off and Arthur got up, the patrol would have seen him. How could they not? So it is so stupid. There had to be a better way to do this scene. But the writers couldn't think of one because they're awful. I mean, they're just awful. Arthur's kind of lost his short-term memory, a bit like Kane did. He can't, it's all blurs and stuff like that. So the boys invent some bullshit story to get him to go to the beach, saying there's like a gas leak in the facility and they have to get to evacuate. So they all go to the beach, but Arthur basically works out that they're lying. And he's like, look, the problem with lies is that, that they spiral out of control. We're going back to the facility. And the boys are like, oh, they're a bit sad. And he takes their hands and he's like, it's all going to be okay. Obviously, it's not okay. Chestburster comes out. It's a pretty cool scene, actually. It looks good. This is probably one of the best Chestburster scenes that we've had, production-wise, I suppose. But the Chestburster gets out and then escapes. Smee is obviously super bummed about Arthur because he didn't know he was going to die. Slightly only cares that the alien got away. And he drags off Arthur's corpse. Again, heavily effort dragging it through the sand. Like, we're going to be late. Curly goes to Sylvia. She doesn't exactly confess what's up, but she wants a cuddle. She calls Sylvia Mom. And Sylvia's like, it'll be okay, darling, I promise. And, I like this dynamic. Motherhood, femininity has always been at the core of Alien. I kind of felt they could have done more with this and it would have been cool. But yeah, basically, Curly's gone to Sylvia for comfort. It's left there. She doesn't confess. Obviously, she's going to shortly. I think Sylvia's going to find out next round. Back to Tweedledum and Tweedledee. The boys have taken the time to build a raft. And I mean like a proper raft. Wood bound together with twine. Wasn't Slightly saying they're going to be late 5 minutes ago? That he could easily carry Arthur on his shoulder and run through the water. But no, they've taken the time to build a raft. Fucking writers, man! Seriously! Anyway, they're going down this river. They come to an outlet where it goes to the sea. And this Weyland-Yutani team just pops out of the water like Navy SEALs. And obviously Morrow's pissed. And it's so stupid. He's like, look, I've done everything you told me to do. Everything. It's not my fault. And Morrow's like, if that's true, I wouldn't be standing over a hollow corpse. Morrow, you dumb shit. You got this 11-year-old to do this and didn't try and monitor it in any way. Buggered off to Weyland-Yutani to get a commando team. I told you this would happen. You can't trust Slightly to open a can of beans. This is Morrow's fault. Morrow really goes downhill for me in this episode because he's really stupid. Anyway, they go off with the boys. They're going to go back to the facility and two of the team just dump Arthur's corpse into the river where he sinks into the river. Bye, Arthur. That's it. That's the end of you. We then cut to a scene between Cavalier and the sheep alien, the eye alien. And he's trying to communicate with it. And he's like, all intelligent creatures, recognise pi. Pi is a universal throughout the galaxy. He writes down 3.14, obviously, pi. And then he gets the alien to stamp out the next few sequences with its feet. So apparently Arabic numerals are also a constant. He gets to one of them and the sheep just takes a dump and laughs. Yeah, it just shows us what this show is, basically. Cavalier's very, very excited about all this. He's like, we need to put this into a human so I can communicate with it properly. He might be disappointed because it's been in a human before. I know it would go... We then go to Joe, Marcy and Nibs. and they get ambushed by some Weyland-Yutani commandos. And Wendy literally calls the alien out of a tree and it murders them all. It just slaughters the entire team of like six or eight people or something. Joe's like, what the fuck? Nibs is loving it. Nibs is like, yay! And then, excuse my voice, I'm a bit ill. After they're all dead, Wendy strokes the alien and then sends it off. And she's like, I told it to hide and follow, I think. That's such bullshit, it really is. Also, the dude in the suit looks terrible in daylight. There's a reason aliens aren't shot in daylight. You can just see all the details in the suit. You can see how unlike Giga's original creation it is. Yeah, it's not great. So we then cut to the chest burster slithering through the jungle, and bang, it's caught in a net. Like that. Just like that. This isn't needle in a haystack. This is needle, in a haystack the size of an island. And they just catch it just like that. So it's got a net and it's been caught. The Weyland-Yutani commandos and the boys go back to the facility, and as soon as they go through the door, they are ambushed and captured by Prodigy security forces, which have been absent through this entire series, but now there's like 50 of them. And Kirsch comes out, and he's got the chest burster in a container, puts it down. He's basically like, look, don't be a sore loser, find us keepers. Calls the boys over, says they're grounded, goes off with them, and the Weyland-Yutani commandos are all captured by Prodigy. Everybody's got pulse rifles. Literally got pulse rifles. I know that because I've got one sitting in front of me. I've got a pulse rifle, like literally 2 feet to my right. They've all got pulse rifles. Pulse rifles shouldn't exist. In Alien Romulus, they're using prototype pulse rifles. This is set 2 years before Alien. How the hell has everybody got pulse rifles? Anyway, whatever. This is almost over. Joe, Nibs, and Marcy get to the boat. As Joe opens the boat open, like his old team commander is in there, the black woman with the red hair. And then they all get ambushed again. There's so much ambushing going on in this.
Surprise, cockbags!
Nibs, they're all like, look, get off the boat, come with us. You're not leaving. And Nibs is like, Mr. Strawberry says to fuck off.
They've been naughty boys, haven't they, Mr. Flibble? Yes.
So one of the dudes takes Mr. Strawberry and throws him into the water. A big mistake. Because Nibs just rips his jaw off. Yeah. Now they're super strong. Rips his jaw off. And it's gory. It's gory as fuck. And then Wendy goes to call the alien. And Joe's like, no. And then there's a bit of a tussle in the fight. So there's no more gore because you can't show... She's fighting women and stuff. And she gets shot. Bang, bang. Takes 2 hits. Nibs has got the black woman in like a headlock after this kind of tussle that goes on. And we hear like a cracking sound. And you're like, oh, she's broken her neck. And Joe zaps her with the electric gun. And then we see that the black woman's fine. She's all right. She's fine. Bit out of breath, but she's okay. Nibs is down. She's like, and then sort of stops. And then Wendy's like, no, what did you do? What did you do? Doesn't make sense. You've seen what he did. He shot her with the electric gun. And then she repeats it. What did you do? Come on, writers. What have you done might make sense because you're like, what consequences have you brought forward? But what did you do? You saw what he just did. That line makes no sense. Whether or not you're trying to refer back to, like in a kind of a rhyming continuation way to what Joe said earlier.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
That makes sense because he didn't see exactly what you did. He just saw you mess about the screen and walk off. So what did you do makes sense. You were looking at him. You saw him shoot her with the gun, the zappy gun. What did you do makes no sense. Anyway, end of episode, Queens of the Stone Age. Boom, done. This might be the quickest one so far. Thank fuck. Because this show is just unredeemable. Awful. I kind of thought it might go kind of all action, Weyland-Yutani's attacks, aliens get out, all that kind of stuff. I did not see Wendy releasing the alien and murdering like 12 people. Some of them were just people who were cleaning the lab. They weren't even scientists. But no, they're all murdered. The alien is now basically a trained puppy, which is some bullshit. Nibs, hopefully she's finally gone because she was so annoying. Nothing on the actress, I don't think. She's acting like a child, like she was told to. But I presume she's gone. Is Marcy now going to... It's so hard to get between Wendy and Marcy. Is Marcy now going to turn on Joe? The alien is sort of looking on at the end of the scene as the trio are taken by the Prodigy security team or whatever. But my God, the scenes with Tweedledum and Tweedledee, Stan and Ollie, that one scene with Arthur, it is just that there had to be a better way to do that. There's so much bullshit. And the worst thing is that this is not going to tie up. There's no way they can end this in the last episode unless it's like 2 hours long. It just can't. There's going to be loose ends. It's going to be a season 2. And I'd bet on it getting a season 2 because unfortunately I have seen people say that this is complete shit. And even people like Angry Joe was like, yeah, no, I'm coming around to the fact that this is shit after loving it for the first, There was a lot of people who were giving this a pass because of the IP. And I don't do that. If anything, I get more pissed off because of the IP. I have higher expectations. I had lower expectations of Disney, so I didn't think it was going to be any good, but I hold it to a higher standard because it is Alien, and what it's coming up against is the previous stuff. But this makes Romulus look well written. This makes Alien Resurrection look like a masterpiece. And Alien Resurrection is no masterpiece. This makes Alien versus Predator Requiem look like a half-decent film. This is absolutely staggering shit. I have no idea what the writers are thinking. It's really bad in nearly every single metric. It makes no sense time-wise. Why did the boys build a raft? Why are the synthetics strong until they're not? They constantly forget that these synthetics are meant to be strong. Like, for example, Bishop is never shown as ultra strong. He's shown he can do that knife thing very, very fast, but he's never shown as being ultra strong and ultra awesome. Whereas in this, they have been shown as that. So therefore, it doesn't make sense when they're not that later on. If you're going to show that they have ultra fast reactions, that they can run ultra fast, and that they're extremely strong, then you have to be consistent and stick with that throughout the show. So you can't show two of them struggling, holding a dude's body like it's a heavy body, like, two normal sized dudes would, holding a 6 foot Arthur. Whether or not you used a dummy or whatever, you'd have to show that they're able to handle this easily. And when you give yourself these writing constrictions, which is what the writers are doing, and you're not intelligent and you don't have the foresight to make sure that you carry through with the continuity, forget the tiger and crossing its paws, just standard continuity, then, your show's just going to fall apart. And that's exactly what's happened here. It is laughable. There's people out there like, this is brilliant, just enjoy the fact you were watching Alien stuff. No, I will not be forced to, eat shit and say that it's chocolate mousse. This show is absolutely fucking awful. It's going to get a season 2, unfortunately, but it's just another nail in the coffin of something, that we used to like. It's gone back in time. They didn't, if they'd gone in the future, they'd have all that room to do these things, but they've gone back in time to prequel it, to make, this was first, and all it's doing is stamping on aliens, and wrapping itself consistently into tighter and tighter corners. And it's just going to tie itself in knots. There's no way that this can make sense. There's no way that this can resolve, certainly not next week. But that will be the end of it for me, which will be a blessed relief, I assure you. So, Sound of Blow, let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm glad this is over next week because it's really, really not good. And I will be on Lord Toxic's channel on Thursday evening, around about 8 o'clock UK time, where I will have seen all of Alien Earth, and I will be discussing it with the panel and ripping it a new one because it deserves it. Anyway, till then, I have been Critic. I'll be back with another video soon.